Cynthia Nixon, obviously a sort of very prominent left-wing activist, so it's not surprising, but Cynthia Nixon Instagrammed this picture on a very pristine-looking boat, maybe yacht, I don't know for sure. That would be called Below Deck Hell. No, I'm kidding. But in a hat that says, it's a Trump-coded hat that says, "Make abortion great again." So it looks like a MAGA hat, and then if you read the text closer, it says, "Make abortion great again." Well, why do I bring up the boat? Well, I bring up the boat because after Roe, or I think this was shortly before Roe, I went back and I crunched some of the numbers. So the New York Times wrote in 2019 that women getting abortions today are far more likely to be poor than those who had the procedure done 20 years ago. And says about half of women who had an abortion in 2014 were below the poverty line, with another quarter very close to poverty. But if you compare that number to Gallup data, there's a, I think, really important takeaway about class that comes out. Gallup data from 2021 found that respondents asked whether abortion was morally wrong, morally acceptable, or dependent on the situation, were more supportive as yearly household income increased. This is, I put some of these charts together in an article at the Federalist back at the time. Above the $100,000 income threshold, 63% of people said abortion was morally acceptable and 32% said morally wrong. Below the $40,000 threshold, those numbers were almost reversed. Only 38% of respondents said it was morally acceptable, while 55% said it was morally wrong. This pattern was consistent among Gallup's research on the question in recent years. And on Roe in particular, there was a 2020 survey, again, from the New York Times that showed a similar pattern on education levels. So while respondents of every education level supported Roe in much higher numbers than they opposed it at the time, support, you will not be surprised to hear, decreased alongside educational attainment, while opposition increased. And so I say this all because there is a tendency among affluent liberal women to claim the mantle of protecting vulnerable, disadvantaged women. If you look at those numbers, in all likelihood, a lot of those vulnerable, disadvantaged women that the sort of liberal activists like a Cynthia Nixon or a Lily Allen, liberal celebrity activists, purport to be championing, likely many of them feel forced into the situation.